I would have been looking somewhere else for that.
So Sarah Weber's what?
Sarah Weber is my grandfather's younger sister, or one of his younger sisters. In fact, she's actually buried with her first husband. He died in 1918 in the flu pandemic after World War I. They were living in Montana, and she moved back to Wisconsin and remarried afterwards.
Is this one of the ones in that book?
No.
No.
But so Sarah was, but she ended up retiring in Tucson.
No.
Speaking of coincidences, with
Right.
Donna living out there,
Right.
and they had a son who was Horton Weber, who was buried somewhere else in this cemetery, and he was a very successful Ford dealership out in Arizona in the 50s and 60s.
Okay.
So this is down, so this is the stone that had the floor on it, so I can't. But her older brother, in fact, my grandfather's oldest brother, Herbert, is buried in this cemetery, and I know there are more towards that road. Could be mistaken, because I think it's right over here. It shows you what happens to you when you get old. There it is.
Oh.
Well, that's why I didn't see it.
Makes sense. Oh, okay. Herbert and Margaret. So these.
Now, a funny thing about this is, if you want to talk about just coincidences, if you remember our house when we lived in Villa Park when I was still a kid, that's where, well, we were in Villa Park in '63. Villa Park is right next to Elmhurst. What I never knew is Herbert lived in Elmhurst for up until he died, along with a couple of his sisters and brother-in-laws all lived in Elmhurst, and I never knew that. We lived in the suburb right next to it. They were all dead and gone by then, but I never knew that we moved to town right next door to where they had lived.
Yeah, what are the odds?
Yeah.
And then is this Weber related to your?
No,
okay.
As far as I know, no, that Weber isn't. So, but Herbert got married quite late, later in life, so he didn't have any children. Him and Margaret didn't have any children.
Interesting.
Just as an aside, because the Bradleys didn't have, some of this is not necessarily a supposition. Bradleys didn't have a lot of money, and my great-grandfather George had a whole lot of kids. I'm pretty sure Herbert and my grandfather both left the home fairly early to live and work on neighboring farms because they needed to earn money, and probably because George didn't have enough money to support all the kids he had. Because Herbert was in '78, my grandfather in '80. John Horton's grave we just came from was born in '85. Jeanette was born in '83, and so he was racking up the kids really quick. And
which dad was that? What was his name?
George.
So he liked one thing for sure.
So, like I said, I know my grandfather, and I'm pretty sure Herbert, his older brother, left home at quite an early age, and were living with other families on other farms.
You say early, what do you mean, like 12 or 15?
Could be. Well, probably by 15, because I know some of Kate's younger brothers were doing the same thing. Kate's. I can find some of her younger brothers at 14 and 15 years of age, or maybe even 13, living on other farms, not with their parents because they don't have a lot. In fact, in the 1880 census, the year my grandfather was born, George and Kate, along with Herbert and my grandfather, are living in the same household with William and Sarah Bradley, Kate's parents. So that tells me that George, even by the time my grandfather was born, was only, helping out on a farm that his father-in-law and mother-in-law had. And that was in 1880. He had 2 or 3 other kids by 1885. So, like I said, probably by the time they were 12, 13 years old, Herbert and my grandfather were not living with the family anymore. They were off working. And I know by 1900, when my grandfather was just 20, he's working on a farm that belongs to his aunt, one of his mother's sisters, her husband. So I know he left much earlier than that. He was probably working for other families.